And welcome back to the Kempire Daily YouTube channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. I know, you've all been waiting. Kempire, we want to hear the recap for the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 14 finale. But if you follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on Instagram, then you know from last night, even in the middle of vacation, I had to talk about She by Sheree. I honestly wanted to buy something, or at least see what there was to buy, even before I saw the latest episode. So I didn't get a chance to see the latest episode because I was too busy last night covering No She by Sheree. You already know the sounds that you should be playing if we were in the studio. Womp womp. Well, woo woo woo, Sheree. Woo woo woo. Sheree, at this hour, right before I decided to record this, I said, let me refresh SheBySheree.com. So last night, let me just backtrack a little bit. As you know, the latest episode, the season finale, ended with the She by Sheree fashion show with actual fashions. We will get into the other story in regards to the fashions and if they're original or not. However, this was going to be the big finale because, as you know, 14 years before, we've been waiting for this fashion show. She had a fashion show with no fashions. Legendary Dwight quote where he was like, who is this person who had fashions with no fashions? How dreadful. Legendary. The nostalgia of it all. But, yes, we had a fashion show, but the bigger thing was that Sheree, a couple of weeks ago, said, have your credit cards ready.
Oh, you was getting smart.
So I said, okay, I didn't watch the episode yet, but I want to go to the website. I might buy a thing or two. At this hour, I'm recording this almost 8 p.m. Eastern on Labor Day. And we still do not have She by Sheree. So Sheree last night, because before anyone else noticed, I guess, I tweeted and I said, I'm going to the shop button and I'm not getting anything. Then some of you clicked and linked me to the information that no, it won't be available until 9:42 p.m. Eastern. We're still waiting. And I do find it interesting, the people that actually got something. Andy posted, got my She by Sheree, and the only other person that said their order went through was someone that works for Bravo. So after the hoopla, after I tweeted, I said, this shop button's not working on her website. I kept on going back at 9:42, 9:44, 9:45. Nothing. And then that's when it started to unfold on social media. Everyone was saying, what is happening here? A lot of you were posting your own receipts. I don't know what's happening. Try this link. So I tried another link, SheBySheree.com/shop. We were able to see the fashion, some of it, 3 different things. However, when you clicked on one of the items, it would bring you to an error message. Well, then Sheree finally released a statement. Okay, the statement I'm going to summarize. Basically, our site crashed because of the overwhelming response. I would believe that if the button at shop on her website on SheBySheree.com worked. It never worked. I was there before the launch. It never worked. But I told you this, if you've been watching my Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps, I said, I feel as if we will get fashion because we already filmed this. I already knew. I saw the tea. I told you guys. The tea was out there. We already got a fashion show. So the fashions were fashioning. But I said, I have a feeling, because this just seems to be Sheree's MO, is that things just usually fall apart. And I'll talk about the fashion show in just a second. So Sheree releases a statement on her website and on her social media that the website crashed because of the overwhelming response. Thank you to all of you that were able to get something. All of you, insert crickets, because I have not met one person that's been able to get something. No Joe Schmo. No, only people I saw that actually got something, Andy Cohen and one of the producers from Bravo. Those were the only people that I saw that were able to actually purchase something. If you are one of those people, please just let me know. I like being wrong. However, I don't like being wrong. I'm a tourist. Let's get it right. However, like I said, although I'm vacationing, I was on the website at before 9:30. 9, because I saw everyone's reaction on Twitter in regards to, oh, she did that. Even Sheree said that. She did that. And all of you in the comment section were like, Sheree, where is it? We're hitting the link and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. So at this hour, almost 24 hours later, we still do not have She by Sheree. But you know what we do have? House of Kempire. Head on over houseofkempire.com. Get your Black Label merch. That will be ending. Literally, after today, I'm going to be stopping the Black Label merch. Stay tuned for more merch. We're actively working. We've been working for the last couple of months. We gave you Pride merch in June. We gave you Black Label merch for the rest of the summer. And I love the She by Sheree logo. Some of you said it looks like some other people's logo. Okay, let's talk about that before we jump into this episode. So Sheree's being accused of stealing, borrowing other people's designs, specifically Shein. And the thing is, one of the particular designs that they're calling out, this gray jogger, jumpsuit, whatever you want to call it, there is no difference between the Shein version and the She by Sheree version. But I think the Shein version is a lot cheaper. Look, we've collaborated with one of our previous sponsors, Essentials, and some of you said their products were expensive, but I've been using them for years, and they give you quality. And what you see on them, although you might see something similar, it's not the same quality. It's definitely not the same quality. They're not even paying me for this. This is not even a sponsored situation. I'm not even wearing that. However, Sheree, not only can we not get the product, now you're being accused of stealing designs. What is going on? I should not be surprised. This seems to be Sheree's MO. Let's get into this episode, because you know what? After watching the finale a second time and after seeing the preview, the trailer for the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 reunion, I have to say I'm kind of interested in seeing the reunion. I don't think this was their best season, but I thought it was a solid season. I think if they shift certain things around, I think we could have a solid season. Word on the street, if you see my previous video, they're in talks with bringing Portia back. There have been hints from Portia that maybe she's gotten her peach back. I don't believe the $5 million, but whatever. No Nene. I did a separate report talking in that same video talking about Nene's alleged settlement amount that she may have gotten. We can talk more about that later. Let's talk about this. So this episode is called A Fashion Show with Fashions. At the top of the episode, Kenya, see, here's another thing that I liked about this episode. It was a finalization of the season. Even though I feel like, oh my God, now we're here. We didn't hear enough about Kenya's movement forward in regards to her business. You know, if anything, Kenya just had a lot of fun this season. She really had a season off, according to other people. But you saw a different side of Kenya. And some of you said that you liked Kenya a lot more. I do believe if Portia does come back next season, some people are speculating she'll be in cahoots with Portia against Marlo. No, I think Kenya's going to understand the assignment that we cannot forget how you left your previous season. There's no way you can bring Portia back and we're going to ignore what Portia had and now has in her life without backtracking to the Fallon of the situation. Word on the street, is Fallon and old boy, not together anymore? Well, so Kenya is preparing. As you know, she was struggling with getting what she needed for Kenya more hair care together in order for her to collaborate with CVS. I'm not sure what's going on with Kenya Moore Hair Care and Walmart. She had mentioned that as well. But the end of this episode, we see Kenya actually achieve this goal, which I thought was nice, but we'll get there. So she's in the middle of the planning stages at the top of this episode, okay? And she says that she had to spend extra to get this done. Marlo goes over to Sanya. Damn, people say all different things. I forgot the correct pronunciation. I apologize, Sanya Richards-Ross. I apologize. Well, Sanya invites Marlo over with the nephews, because you know the nephews are back in her care. and Ross is going to be a role model to them. She's volunteering to be her village. Here's the thing, Sanya. I think you have really good intentions, and I think this was such a really great moment to see the boys changing. Because even my own father, he never taught me how to change a tire. He never taught me how to change oil. And Ross talked about these basic skills that he didn't get until he had a stepfather. I'm like, you know what? You do need male figures. I know, shout out to all the mothers doing on their own and being the mommy and the daddy. But there are certain things that you just get from men that you can't get from anyone else. I liked that moment for the boys, in reality, but Sanya, don't believe the hype. Marlo will throw you under the bus because I truly believe that Kandi has tried to be there for Marlo, not just getting her a show and whatever it may be. Like, she really has tried to be a village for Marlo. I think people have really tried with Marlo, and she's in that moment like, yes, be my village, and then we'll throw you under the bus next season. So don't be surprised, Sanya. You're trying to be there for her, but girl, I get it. She look, and I can appreciate the growth because I think it's important for Sanya to find that out on her own. I think it's important for Sanya not to watch this show and navigate the show because of what we already know about Marlo. Okay, you fall for it. You fall for it, Sanya. She'll be throwing you under the bus and saying how you weren't there for her. You be a village for me. We've seen it, but she doesn't care. She doesn't care that we've seen it on the show, that someone has been there for her countless times. Whatever. But I thought it was sweet to see for the boys. The other thing that they discuss is the other storyline. Sanya and her IUD, UTI. Marlo couldn't remember. Okay. So we also get a couple of crossovers this episode with Married to Medicine and some other things in this episode because Dr. Jackie's the one who takes out Sonya's IUD. But Sanya and Ross come to an agreement, and she is going to. I wonder, I would love it if she announced that oh, we're pregnant or we're actively trying. I don't know. Do you believe that's a real storyline for them? Because Ross, in the beginning of the season, seemed like he's like, no, I want a baby. And I was just like, I don't know. He just doesn't seem like that guy. He doesn't seem like that guy that would say, oh, I want a baby, no matter how you feel. But magically, by the end of this episode, I get it. I understand how you feel. I feel like he rides for her and he loves his wife. If she says she doesn't want to have a baby, I think he'd be okay with it. I think that they already kind of knew what their storyline was going to be, but they're going to play this out the way that they played it out. Just saying, just my perspective later on. It just feels like you got there too quickly. I just feel like some of the stories that we ended off this week with, it's like, damn, how did we get there? Did we focus too much on pettiness instead of the real stories? Like, how did you and Ross get there? How did Kenya get to figuring this business situation out? I felt like it was just too brushed over, too focused on She by Sheree. Just saying, can we talk about the real stuff that's actually in stores? Just asking for a friend. The friend is all of us. Anyways, so they have that scene. We'll move on. She by Sheree visits the venue, and she meets with the venue, I guess, producer, planner, manager, whatever it may be. And at this point, She by Sheree only has 5 items. We also get to see Rowan again. Hey, Rowan. Rowan's like the best part. But Rowan, here's the thing, before I even forget, because I always say we'll get to that scene. No, this is our review. We will talk about everything that comes to mind with our elephant brains. Rowan, I feel like she planned. The reason why this was successful, why this looked the way that it looked, Rowan planned this. Because behind the scenes, even some of your top fashion designers are backstage, are hectic and trying to make sure that everything is right. I'm not sitting here acting like I'm a fashion designer, but I've seen enough backstage stuff to understand that fashion designers, real fashion designers, are not backstage doing this. Thinking about, no, you are making sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do, everyone's looks. We just saw this from Lisa Milan in her fashion show. Because she's a real designer with a multi-million-dollar business. We literally see her backstage making sure the girls look right, changing things. And maybe some of that stuff is done for television. But no, if you've seen fashion shows over the years, we watch Top Model. Come on, we're experts. If you paid attention to that, the fashion designers, no matter how major they are, Donatella's back there too. Donatella's making sure that, I need to make sure this look. This is what she by Sheree is doing backstage. Just nervous because she's going to have her. And Sheree's walkout What are you doing? Girl, we need a little bit more movement in your walkout. What is this slithering and sliding? It kind of reminds me, remember Dr. Wendy, we're in her pocket, just like a snake. What are you doing, Sheree? Anyways, we will get back to that. We'll get back to that. So she's nervous about this event because she doesn't have the designs. Because she has no involvement in any of this. It's like she was desperate to be back on the show, desperate to have a story. The Tyrone story fell apart. And now she's like, I need to make She by Sheree happen. But all she is doing is basically, I don't even know what to call it. What is she doing? She's getting someone to put some pieces together and putting her name on it. Basically what Drew did. And you were dragging Drew. Dragging it with Drew. Basically, you're doing the same exact thing. Damn. Look at Drew. Just look at... Okay, Drew. Good for you, girl. I like Drew by the end of the season. Thank God. Because by the end of last season, I was like, what is wrong with Drew? Now I'm like, what? Now I'm like, where the hell is She by Sheree? Moving on, because I felt like that was a nothing scene. This was a longer episode, so I want to make sure I get through some of the important things. Marlo. I've talked about Marlo constantly during the season, and not for good reasons. But we've been waiting to meet Marlo's mom, who is I think, former drug addict. I don't know if she's still in the middle of her addiction, but we get to meet her finally. We've never met her before. We finally get to meet her, and we kind of get a glimpse into why Marlo is the way that Marlo is. No matter how we feel about Marlo, I can kind of get why Marlo feels the way that she does, why Marlo acts the way that she does, because of the way that she grew up and how her family views her as just a money tree. Look, Marlo is not innocent. However, I do believe that we got a better glimpse as to why Marlo is the way that she is. Love it, like it, hate it, whatever. Seeing her relationship with her mom with what happened with the teeth? Okay, she threw the teeth out. Look, the teeth out accidentally. But they talk about their relationship and the ups and downs of that relationship, the challenges of that relationship. She takes her mom out shopping, and I guess her mom is looking for pieces for her own thing that she's doing. But they talk about their challenges. They talk about, Marlo says specifically she had to do this filming out in public because if it wasn't, it could have went completely left. So moving on from that, because I do think that was an important scene. It's sad to me that Marlo's most important scene happened at the end of the season, which is just another confirmation for me that Marlo does not need to come back as a full-time peach holder. I hate to do that to Marlo, but Marlo would throw me under a bus no matter what. Look how many things Kandi has done for her, and she's throwing her under the bus. Marlo didn't bring enough this season, first of all, to earn the seat next to Andy Cohen. I hate saying that, but I understand the Bravo world. You guys place significance on that. She didn't deserve that. Again, I stick by Sheree should have been next to Andy and Drew. Because I don't honestly feel that Marlo brought enough this season for her to be sitting next to Andy. But you know what? I think this is those two people sitting next to Andy. You know how a lot of people think the person furthest from Andy on the edge of their seats won't be coming back? I believe it will be the ones closest to Andy that won't be coming back for next season. But who knows? Who knows? They were so desperate this season. That's why Marlo got a peach. That's why Sheree came back. According to lovebscott.com, I keep reminding you guys this, casting was in shambles. So some of the people they brought on this show and some of the people that they didn't necessarily were going to bring back, like Drew, got their second chance because of casting issues. Sidebar, we didn't get a chance to talk about the leak of season 7's group photo of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Word on the street, I hear that we're probably going to get a trailer for Potomac tomorrow. So that would be interesting. They looked amazing. All of them. I had to wear red. Look, I had to wear red. They looked really good. Candace looked really good. Ashley looked, all of them. Even Robin. Look, even Robin. No, but Robin, I've never said Robin's not a good looking woman. Yes, she's had some moments where you're like, girl, what are you wearing? But she's a beautiful woman. So is Giselle. Giselle's wig in that photo, it's not my favorite, but she didn't look terrible. You know what I mean? They all looked really good. And it kind of reminded me of, I think it's season 11's group shot for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Very, like, just beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that. I know a lot of you are looking forward to us talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I'm excited to get back with my girls. You know, I haven't been doing a lot of collaborations, but I'm excited to sit down and chat with my girls, Grace Report and Layla Lynn. We are going to do it, so stay tuned for that. That, for those that don't know what we did, we used to do last season, and we would do it on each of our different YouTube channels. So stay tuned for that for season 7. We are back, and I'm excited to talk with those beautiful women. So stay tuned for that. Back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. So, Kenya. So finally, as I said to you before, I felt like they were just trying to wrap everyone's story up this episode. And that's why this episode was so full. And of course, they wanted to give us She by Sheree, the fashion show. But Kenya, Brandon, you know Kenya's best friend. That's her real friend. That's her real family. I really wish that Brandon lived in Atlanta. I don't think we've seen Brandon a lot since the whole Apollo situation. Oh, that would have been interesting to see Brandon and Apollo together at the fashion show, but he wasn't there. But Brandon flew in because this is a big deal. This is a big deal. We remember when Kenya Moore hair care was just water in a bottle. Come on, I had to say it. Everyone gets it. Bam, 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 bam. Everyone gets it. We remember. And for it to be a lot of you have said, the product is really good. I have no hair. I can't tell you. All right, unless she comes out with a beard oil, I can't tell you. But for her to go from being in Sally's Beauty to now she's in CVS, I'm not sure, she might be even in Walmart now, it's a huge deal. Being in the beauty market can be potentially a very lucrative business, and she's the perfect person to get into something like this, and I'm glad that she did. You know, she was producing movies and acting for many years, and she's still doing that stuff. But I'm loving the fact that she's expanding on this business. And she did give credit to Mark Daly. I probably should bring that up, but she did give credit to Mark Daly for helping her, you know, build that business on some level as well. So she has the group, you know, Kandi showed up, Sanya showed up, Drew showed up for this big celebration, and it was brief, but it was still beautiful to see that, you know, they have this moment. We saw the photos. We talked about the photos months ago before the season even started, that she was in CVS celebrating this new chapter. And the ladies came to support her. And they had even items at one point at the end to, I guess they were buying and taking with them. They also talk about She by Sheree, and she's like, she doesn't have any fashions. There's no fashions. How are we really going to have a fashion show? But I kept on telling you guys, I felt like they were really leaning into this because of the drama over the years. But in reality, it's still a big womp, 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 because you're telling everyone to have your credit cards ready. And at this hour, we still do not have any She by Sheree fashions. And at this point, I don't even want it. Especially if they're stolen designs. Let me go to Shein. Anyways, so we have that beautiful scene. We get to see Brandon. I thought that was really cool. They talk about Sheree's fashion show, Kandi. So they're really rounding out all the stories. Kandi meets with her mom to talk about the trust. As you know, this was also one of my favorite parts of the season, them talking about trust and estate planning, because so many people don't do it, but someone like Kandi really should do it. But the fact that she has this scene with Mama Joyce is not lost on me, because you know what Mama Joyce is going to say. She's always going to drag Todd any way that she can. And she says, and it was kind of funny because it was like, what about Ace and Blaze? But when she really explained herself in regards to putting Riley first, is because no matter what, at the end of the day, if something happens to Kandi, Todd's going to take care of his kids. And I do believe that he will take care of Riley, but not the same way that Kandi would take care of Riley. We already know that. They've already said this. But one of the important things that Mama Joyce says is that she doesn't have a dad. Like she has a dad, but he's never been active in her life. She still owes her child support, I'm sure. So she's like, you need to make sure that everything you had before you met Todd, that she's gonna be good. And she does believe Don Juan's great to be an executor. Don Juan must be her right hand. He's been with her for such a long time. He's involved in every aspect of her business, but also her estate. Like, that's got to be her road dog, her best friend. I love that for anyone. If you can get one person, like, especially on your team, anyone that runs a business, anyone that does anything that involves other people, they know how hard it is to find someone to match your level of work ethic, someone that you can trust. I'm trying to figure those details out now. So I can appreciate that. But Mama Joyce also wants to be one of the executors. I don't think. Well, Kandi's like, first of all, you killing me off before you. Like, what? I mean, you just don't know. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I thought that scene was not lost on me. I wasn't surprised at what Mama Joyce has to say. I know a lot of people do not love Mama Joyce. But Mama Joyce and Kandi's relationship, here we're going to talk about astrology. Kandi is a Taurus. There are a lot of similarities with Kandi that I'm familiar with. But one of the interesting things is, and this is one of the things I always say about astrological signs, you pay attention to the ones that are similar in your life. The similar signs that are around you, connections, parents and children, partners. So, she's a Taurus and her mom is a Scorpio. I'm a Taurus, my mom and dad are Scorpios. So I always find it interesting. It's sort of like watching their relationship is like watching my own with my mom. So I'm like, Anyway, so I thought that was a cute scene. Speaking about moms, Marlo invites Kandi to meet her mom at our archive. As you know, in Jamaica, these two, Kandi and Marlo, had a lot of ups and downs, but they got through them over a box of KFC chicken. So she meets her mom, but Kandi, see, that's us Tauruses. We're forgiving. We don't forget, but we are forgiving, just so that we can move on. So Kandi goes there, but right before Kandi even gets there, Marlo and her mom get into it because they're rehashing some of their issues from over the years. And I'm not surprised by this. One of their main issues is how her mom has put a man first. And Marlo even says, maybe this is why I don't even have a man. I wouldn't be surprised that the reason why Marlo has issues with men and probably conducts herself in a certain way with men is because of how her mom prioritized a man over her. So they get into a tiff and Marlo has to walk out when Kandi comes. But they also talk about the similarities in regards to Kandi's like, I love my mom. My mom is challenging. I went to therapy with my mom and she cussed me out. But I think Kandi also appreciated her mom even more because of the relationship that they have versus the relationship Marlo has with her mom and how her mom has been absent in her life. And the whole conversation about one of the biggest things that Marlo's mom has with Marlo is that she kicked the family out of a home that Marlo bought for them. But Marlo says, you guys were doing all kinds of crazy things in that house. The poor boys, are there by themselves. There's people drug dealing, all kinds of things. And Marlo's just like, my family just looks at me as a money tree versus an actual person. And I think the reason why Marlo gives as much as she gives to her family monetarily is because she wants them to love her. And she's always looking for love because of the love she did not receive from her mom. Deep. Just saying. But she brings her mom to the archive and her mom's like, this looks like your closet. And she meets Kandi. I thought this was a sweet meeting with, of all people, for Kandi to meet, or for Marlo's mom to meet, that she chose Kandi. Remember though, Kandi and Marlo have a long history. Marlo dated Kandi's nephew or cousin, somebody related to Kandi. So they have a long history. So I think that's part of the reason why Kandi's like, you're just going to throw me under the bus just so that you can make drama for a peach? Like, really? And this does not end even at the reunion. And Kandi is getting into the Kandi cry voice. And that means it's going to be a good season. I mean, a good reunion. Okay. Let's just get to it. Let's get to this. Backtracking, I forgot to talk about Sheree. So before we get into the fashion show, Sheree, if you've ever thrown an event, there are days leading up to the event. Okay, a fashion show, the models were great. She had to actually get real models. So she had to spend millions of dollars in order to get real models, including Apollo. So Apollo was there for the fashion show and the preparation for the fashion show, but also was Lyrone, or AKA Tyrone. So Tyrone, okay, you have to be of a certain age, to recognize the bruh man when he came in. What was it? When he walked in, I said, I thought he was like a white collar criminal. Why is he walking in here like he was a former drug dealer? I'm just asking. You saw when when Sheree was dragging him in her confessionals, I was like, did you ever love this man? Because you were just saying what we're thinking. She's a confessional queen, though. Sheree understands the assignment. She called him Lyrone. She said, why is he walking in here like bruh man? Really, why was he? The outfit, although it was Burberry, not everything just because it has a brand name is good. She's accused him in interviews and things before that he just wants to be famous. He just wants to be on the show. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, he tried to sue them to stop using his image on the show and blah, 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 blah. No, he wanted to control the narrative, but he still wanted to be on the show. And if you fast forward towards the end when he shows up with roses, you see where he's ready to take a picture with her. Okay, so Lyrone knows what he's doing, but Sheree is not falling for it. So when he surprises Sheree, she's like shocked. She's like, what are you doing here? Kaylee, her daughter, that was the funniest moment. When she's talking to the producer, she's like, who is that? Who is that? Even we know who that is. She don't know who her mom. Like, you haven't seen, not even a picture. They've been talking for years. She doesn't even know who this man is. And she says to the producer, that's him? He's short. Yes, girl, he's short. I didn't realize he was short. My thing is just like, really? What is happening here? So anyways, so she tries to have a conversation with him because she's like, what happened here? Why didn't you show up? And he's like, I can't be, you're going to get me sent back to prison and it's because of filming and blah, blah, blah. When you come to visit me, it's not filming. And she's like, what are you talking about? Why wouldn't you communicate that thing to me? Why don't you apologize? He wants her to apologize to him and he'll apologize to her. And she has a fit. She's like, just get out of here. If you can't apologize, just get out of here. Sidebar, we get another confessional moment with Apollo. Apollo's just making that money. Apollo's making that money. He gets another confessional moment, and they are so shady. I forgot what they said under his title, Apollo, not a legal expert. I don't know what they said, but it was funny and it was shady. And I was just like, you guys are a mess. But Apollo confirmed, he's like, well, there shouldn't be an issue for him filming. He shouldn't go back because he was filming. So Lyrone was lying again. You can't trust someone like Lyrone. You can't. I don't think you can trust someone named Tyrone. Sorry to the other Tyrones. But it's so interesting that Apollo and Lyrone were both probably not for the same thing that I know of. I don't know their cases like that. But like white collar crimes. It wasn't for anything else. Okay. Sidebar, I didn't forget this. Some of you were linking me to, because a lot of you called in last week and it pointed out that Apollo's, Rolls Royce that he was driving, they're like, he doesn't have a Rolls Royce. Then you all linked me to his actual car, which is not a bad car, but it's not a Rolls Royce. It's not a Rolls Royce. Okay, he's filming for the show. He wants to stunt. All right. I mean, I'm still looking at you, Apollo, Apollo came across very likable in these last couple of episodes, but I always have to remind myself, of course he is likable. You got to be charismatic when you're a crook. Okay. So we had first of all, the models gorgeous, especially the men. I was looking at the guys. I was like, oh, cute. Anyways, focus. Let's get to the fashion show. This was what everyone was talking about. I saw everyone's responses on Twitter. You were so excited. You were like, yeah, she did that. And honestly, she did. Before we even get to that, we're backstage. The ladies arrive. Everyone's looking great. Drew even bedazzled her boot. I didn't love Drew with the blonde and the makeup. That felt a little off. Sanya looked great. Kandi looked all right. I didn't love Kandi's outfit. Kenya was wearing the same dress that Madam Diana, yes, we're back to that. Madam Diana New Money Jenkins wears in her Real Housewives of Beverly Hills photo. Kenya was wearing that. Kenya looked great. Who else was there? Sidebar, let's just talk about all of Atlanta was there. Quad was there. Lisa Nicole Cloud was there. Dwight was there. Sheree's ex-husband, Bob Whitfield, was there. And Tammy was there from, I don't know how many seasons ago. She was also there. Wasn't Tammy at the, the pajama party thing? I can't remember. You guys are better with that stuff, remembering all those specific details. But Tammy was there. OG Deshaun Snow was there, but I told you guys that in my exclusive information about this fashion show. She was there. So all of Atlanta was there. I wasn't shocked by this. Of course, Sheree wanted all these people there. Okay, so Sheree's backstage getting ready for this. Marlo arrives and she says, "Oh, I saw Tyrone. I saw Lyrone. And he had flowers, and word on the street, he's been in town for several days." Do you think that, I'm thinking this is what they were alluding to, that maybe Sheree and Tyrone have been kicking it since he's been in town, and maybe she was just pretending to be surprised when she saw him? Who knows? People are still wondering how Sheree paid for this home. Chateau Shelma. Damn, that just rolled off the tongue. Okay. So he goes backstage, and to give her the flowers, he's dressed up, even though when she kicked him out during the model run-through, she was like, just leave, don't come tomorrow. Like, if you can apologize, don't come. So he comes, of course he's coming. He wants to be on camera. And literally when he's backstage trying to kiss her on the cheek, and then he's ready for the photo. Ready for the photo with Sheree. So we get to the fashion show, and we finally get the fashions. And to be honest with you, it was a great runway show. I like her logo. I love the fashions. I love the athletic meets high fashion. No matter what you want to say about Sheree, she does have good taste. The decor of her home to her fashion, I felt like it was solid. It looked great. It was a great fashion show. What we saw available on SheBySheree.com/shop. You're welcome, Sheree, that I'm promoting, even though people can go there now and nothing's there. Even the things that we saw there, that stuff wasn't there. The cast were like, these are things that I would actually want to wear. Like some of the things that the men and women, the things that the men were wearing, I would wear. I was like, that's cute. Like the pink outfit that Kenya was moved by the model. Kenya, I was here with you with that. I was like, he's yummy. He's yummy. But the way he was wearing that pink thing, I would wear that. I would wear that. Like I think we all were rooting for Sheree, and the fact that we had from the very top of when things were available, the site crashed, and everyone that's a computer expert were like, girl, no, like this is a major fail. Hopefully by the time I upload this video, you guys will have She by Sheree in your palms, but I can't promise you that because I have nothing to do with that. Again, houseofkempire.com, you can get yourself some merch right now. But anyways, the fashion show was fashioning. The women, why did they blur out one of the models? Did she not sign the release? Must not. I thought that was interesting. She had things for all sizes. I thought that was amazing. The fashion show was beautiful. What else happened in the fashion show? We got to see Apollo. When we saw the picture of Apollo in the jumpsuit that he had, I thought it looked like it was orange, but it actually was red. Go figure. I think orange would have been a little bit more fitting. Oh, goodness. Look. Oh, Sheree drags Tyrone again about the way he looks, about him showing up, and about his grocery store flowers. Even when her mom, Thelma, meets Tyrone, she's just like, who is this? Everyone in her family does not know who this man is. I feel like we would recognize Tyrone before the family would recognize Tyrone. We've been talking about Tyrone for years. None of them have watched the show. None of them have seen pictures of Sheree and Lyrone together. The mom was like, and she was like, Prison Bay. And she was like, oh, really? Your mom knows Tyrone as Prison Bay? It's giving fake. It's giving, I don't know what this is. Sheree, do better. You're too amazing of a person to be doing these reindeer games for television and for fronting for the streets. Stop. Live up to your own greatness that we thought you were. Damn. Womp, 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 womp. Moving on. Look, moving on. Let's talk just about the ending. So the ending, because every episode any finale of the Real Housewives, they end off with everyone's story. So the ladies walk down the runway. You know, everyone's celebratory. Oh, okay. So they have the group come out. All the models come out, and then we have Slytherin Sheree coming down. She's like, I'm like, girl, walk the runway like a model. What are you slithering down the runway? But the fashion show was great. But too bad no one can get any of the fashions. She said check back in 24 hours. So by the time this is uploaded, maybe it'll be available. We'll post the link, I guess. I'm posting no damn link to her. So, of course, we get a segue to what is happening with everyone in their lives. And those shady producers are so shady to everyone. Oh, we did get a scene with Brooklyn talking with Kenya earlier in the episode. Kenya, the merch, the Kenya Moore merch. I can see a lot of little girls wanting to wear that merch. I hope that's available, Kenya. I might want to wear that t-shirt. But seeing little Brooklyn in the little Kenya Moore tie-dye, that was adorable. Get that available ASAP, please. But she was also looking at merch when she was on the phone call with her business manager. So probably merch is coming if it's not already available. So shout out to you, Kenya. Everyone's story is wrapped up by the end of this episode. And of course, we get a preview of the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 reunion. I have to say, watching it after this episode, now I kind of want to see how this reunion plays out. Because in my initial review of this, it felt a little lackluster. But we shall see. I don't care about Martell calling Sheree. I don't want to care. See, Andy's like, your new man's like a 10 out of 10. Yeah, good looking. But if you know the real deal about Martell, we're all like, he might be a 10 out of 10 in good looks. Well, those chicken legs. But anyway, we know his story. We're not interested in his story. Producers, if this is what you have planned for Sheree for next season, we're not interested. We're not interested. But maybe you are. How did you guys feel about the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 14 finale? Who do you want to see come back? Who do you think brought it this season the most? Do you think they got the seating chart right for the reunion? And if you could buy anything from the She by Sheree line, what would you buy? Let's continue that conversation below. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this season finale and the reunion. So stay tuned for all of that. And yes, I will be doing a Married to Medicine recap as well. I'll see you in that recap as well. See you guys later. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.